Hey gang, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew Wolfe, and today we're going to be talking about Boulder, Colorado, and also Denver, but we're going to be talking about today the top 10 reasons why people are leave Denver to move to Boulder. Both are awesome cities, both have their perks, but sometimes people choose to make a change, and today we're going to talk about why. Let's start with number one. The number one reason why people I see moving to Boulder from Denver is just the crazy expansion in population that Denver has seen. That's a big perk for a lot of people, but some people want to have a little bit less traffic, a little bit less busyness going around to their favorite bars, restaurants, just walking around their city. So some people want a little more space and a little less dense population. So they choose to leave Denver to move to Boulder because of the expanding population. Number two, people move to Denver to be in a big city. They love how vibrant it is. They love that pulse-like feel. They love access to nightclubs, bars, restaurants, sporting events. But sometimes people get over that life experience. They want something that's a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved, and has a little bit more calm lifestyle. And so people choose to move to Boulder to take advantage of that Boulder bubble. That little more relaxed vibe. It's got more of a community feel. It's a college town, so it has a good amount of people and a lot of services you might see in a big city, but it's not going to have that same constant pulse and urban feel that Denver's going to have. So if you're ready to make that adjustment, I see a lot of people moving to Boulder from Denver for the quiet. Number three, so obviously we live in Colorado. It's a beautiful place to live no matter where you are. But if you live in Denver, it is a bit of a concrete jungle, right? There's less trees, there's parks and really great places to be, but you're not in nature in the same way. You're driving to the mountains to take advantage of it. If Boulder, you're practically living in them, right? You're obviously have a great local, beautiful scenery around you right in the city, but you're also 30 minutes from Eldora. So people want to get to the mountains a lot easier, have more direct access, and live in nature more succinctly. They're going to choose to live in Boulder and make that transition from out of the big city to more of the foothills type of area that's going to have more direct access to nature. Number four, kind of sticking on that same thing, recreation is a part of daily life in Boulder, right? So people who like to be active in Denver tend to join gyms, whether it's cycling, CrossFit, Orange Theory, Jiu-Jitsu, anything you can think of, and there's tons of those out there. And obviously you have great, trails and things like that to run on and bike on out there, but you're inherently in the city when you're in Denver versus people that want to take advantage of more active lifestyles like hiking, biking, fishing, paddleboarding. All those things are really difficult to do in the city are much, much easier to do in Boulder. So people who want to take advantage of the outdoor recreation tend to move from Denver to Boulder just because it's a different feel, different lifestyle. So the community feel of Boulder is going to be quite a bit different. Like we talked about, it's just going to be smaller, less busy. The neighborhoods are more neighborhood feeling, right? Like a neighborhood in Denver is going to still feel like a part of a larger big city as a whole, and that's a great thing. I love living in Denver. But when you're looking for something that's more separated, has more neighborhoods, has more tree-lined streets, maybe you have different feels in different neighborhoods, Boulder's going to offer that a little bit more readily than Denver does. All right, number six, guys. Any of us who have lived in Denver for the last 10 years or so can tell you that traffic has become just a bear over the last decade or so. I mean, I can tell you going from North Denver to even Central Denver used to be a 15, 20-minute trip. Now it can be an hour super duper easy. So Boulder, commuting around, whether you're driving your car, taking advantage of the great bike lanes, or even taking advantage of local transit is a little simpler, right? So if you're living and working in Boulder, you're about 10 or 15 minutes from work no matter where you live in the city. Even if you live in Denver, you're probably on that 30 to 45 minute or so traffic to Denver from Boulder. And honestly, there's places in Denver where if you're going from, again, North Denver to Central Denver, South Denver, Central Denver, you're probably looking at that same 45 minutes in traffic. So people move there to get a little bit of a break from the traffic, a little break from the congestion. And again, it kind of goes back to that little slower pace of life that people are choosing when they move from Denver to Boulder. All right, so another big reason, number seven here, that people tend to move from Denver to Boulder is for a very health and wellness-focused lifestyle. Denver has plenty of opportunities for that, like we talked about. It's also a very fit city. It has great local eateries that are going to be very health-conscious, farm-to-table style dining, but it's just not going to be immersed in the community in the same level that Boulder is. Boulder is routinely the number one or top 5 fittest city in the whole country. It's just part of the lifestyle. It's ingrained at almost every resident at a cellular level. Wellness-focused restaurants, very eco-friendly restaurants, right? So things like that, it's just the cultural milieu is going to be very health and wellness-centric in Boulder. So people that are making that transition in life choose to make that transition often from Denver to Boulder. Number 8, I think not all, but a lot of us get to a point in our life when the education system is going to be very important to us. So it could be those of us who are transitioning to go to higher education ourselves, and obviously CU Boulder is an extremely fine institution, or those of us that have children that want to focus on what the elementary, middle, and high school opportunities are going to be there. So Boulder Valley School District is extremely strong. It's one of the best in the whole state. So people who are valuing the education system tend to make that transition out of Denver and into Boulder. And then also folks who want to take advantage of the higher education. Obviously you have DU and Metro State and some great higher education institutions in Denver itself, but CU Boulder is kind of the big dog in the whole state of Colorado, right? People come from all around the world to attend there. So if education is important to you, oftentimes people make that switch from Denver to Boulder for that reason. All right, number 9, and honestly I could have probably put this towards the top, towards number 1 or number 2, but Boulder is going to have a much more intimate, connected community feel. So I think there comes a time in our lives often, I grew up in the city as a kid and I lived in the city of Denver for a long time, when I was ready for a bit of a change of pace, right? I was a little bit over that pulse and that high-paced city feel, though I do love Denver and I love that vibe still. I still like going to visit. But when you get to that time in your life when you're ready to slow things down and you want to be more engaged in your community, it's a lot easier to do that in Boulder, right? The community itself is a little bit more engaged, but it's inherently smaller and less disconnected than a large city. So people can feel connection, people can feel like they're a part of their community, they can affect changes in their community. When that becomes important to folks, I will see them transition from the big city to Boulder. All right, and another thing to consider that I would be remiss in my job if I didn't talk about is Boulder's real estate tends to be a little more sustainable long term. Obviously, Colorado has performed very, very strongly over the last, honestly, couple of decades, really, in home values. We've seen appreciation pretty consistent, but now the economy is testing itself a little bit further, and we're seeing it not be, mortgage rates increase and the economy not be quite as strong as it was a few years ago. We have seen home prices in Denver tend to flatten and in some circumstances even go down a little bit. Boulder hasn't really experienced that, and there's a lot of reasons why. Boulder doesn't have the same level of condo and townhouse development that Denver does. Boulder tends to be a lot more single-family homes. Boulder doesn't have the same amount of new building as Denver has had, right? And all of these things come with downsides as well. Denver's a little bit more affordable, has more opportunities for entry-level homes. Boulder, your average single-family home is going to be north of $1 million, and even condos are going to be in the high 500s to start. So a lot of those things come with two-sided coins, but when you are ready to kind of make that long-term investment, you're going to plan on being in a home for 10, 20, 30 years, investing in a long-term, stronger performing community like Boulder can be a really great thing, especially if you're factoring in all the other things we talked about that might be good decisions why people tend to move from Denver to Boulder. So that's been, in my opinion, 10 reasons why people make that transition. Again, guys, I love Denver. It's where I got my start in Colorado. I love it. But as my life has changed and things have changed for me, I've found that transition up north to Boulder to be really, really strong. So if you were considering making that change, I'd be happy to talk through it. Or if you want to compare and contrast, I'm happy to say plenty of awesome things about Denver because it's the right fit for some people. But yeah, I'd love to talk more, guys. I love making these videos. I love connecting with you guys online, but I would love to connect with you more directly. So please feel free to give me a phone call, a text, an email, or even just leave a comment down below and I will get back to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys are loving both the city of Denver and the city of Boulder, and I would love to have a further conversation. I will talk to you guys real soon.